Hi everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyazifunda iy'ncwadi ebhalwe ngolimi lwethu lwesiZulu bese siza la sokhuluma ngazo le ncwadi esuke siyifundile. Senzela laba phela abasuke bengenaso isikhathi sokuthi bayifunde incwadi nalabo basuke benqena nje ukufunda. Siyaphinda futhi sibuka ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sokhuluma ngawo lama shows, senze ama-reviews ama-recaps bese siyaphinda futhi sikhuluma nga-any other issues avukayo uma ngabe lama shows sesiwabukele kwi-TV. Uma ngabe uqala ujoyina namhlanje and you really like our content, do not forget to press the subscribe button la ngezansi bese uphinda futhi upressa i-notification bell eduze kuka-subscribe ukuze phela uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakela. Kanti-ke futhi uma ufuna ukuba yimember yale channel, press ujoin button la ngezansi. Kanti futhi ne-channel uyakwazi ukuthi uyibonge ngemali when you press the thanks button. Guys, today I just want to talk a little bit about the issue that has been going on recently concerning ishow kwiKhaya FM le ephethwe uDineo kanye noSol Phenduka. Obviously, recently, abantu have been complaining ngendaba yokuthi it doesn't look like the show is working out like they expected. I say that like they expected our viewers, because we did not know at the beginning also what was the arrangement with the station. What did the station expect from the two of them? But from the viewers' point of view, they were not happy with how the show was going. And a lot of people were saying Dineo overtalks Usol, and a lot of the times she does not give Usol a chance to speak. And there is a video, you guys, that's going around as well where Usol is trying to raise his hand so that he can speak. And I really didn't like seeing that video, you guys, because honestly, it doesn't show us the Sol that we know from the podcast. But I've always had it in my mind, you guys, that I think it will be important for us to know what the arrangement of the station was, because a lot of the times when you have these radio shows, there's always a lead presenter and then there's a supporting presenter, sometimes more than one supporting presenter. I don't know if that's how they are called, but there's always the main person in the show, and then the others would look like they're supporting, and they will do certain segments that form part of the show. And a lot of the times, if you've got an interview during the show, and the main person and the main presenter will ask most of the question, and then the others will ask questions here and there. So I felt like it would have been important for us to know that before comparing it, because maybe Usoli and I understood that what was his position, what part was he supposed to play in the show. And this week, the radio station Ukaya 959 has come out to clarify what are the roles of the two people that are doing the show on the radio station. So I just want to read a little bit in the Abayshilo, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, this is their response. Okay, it says the structure of 959 breakfast is that Dineo Ranaka is the main anchor and Sol Phenduka is the co-host and traffic reporter. Kaya 959 MD Sibongile Mchali said in the press statement. And then she goes on to say, we are aware that a female lead anchor in the breakfast show is unusual in SA radio landscape, but we have full confidence in both Dineo and Sol's talent and their ability to navigate the dynamic of the show. Listen, for me to get this information, guys, it was important because then it clarified for us also Dineo is actually the main host of the show, and that Sol Phenduka, yes, he is a co-host, but he's also a traffic reporter. And I think that Usol already knew that, because I'm guessing that would have been in his contract. So he knows and understands that he has to take a backseat when it comes to the show, and maybe that's why he hasn't been the one that is complaining, but the viewers have been the ones that are complaining. The thing about it is that a lot of the people that are watching that show are chillers that know Sol Phenduka from the podcast, and they know how he is in the podcast. And you know how Umakji is with Sol on the podcast. It's not like Umakji, sometimes Umakji says less than Sol. He just gives him a platform to say and do whatever it is that he wants. But with this show, it's different. So he can't be the same as he was on the podcast. But still, he did. It does seem like he should be getting a chance to speak, now and then, which people feel like he's not even getting that. And another thing that I think it's important for us as viewers to think about is that, like they do mention, Uguti, a lot of the times breakfast shows, but and not just breakfast shows, a lot of the shows on radio stations are led by male presenters. So we are used to that dynamic where a male presenter is leading the show, and then a female, if they are there, they are supporting on the show. They are a co-host. A lot of the shows is like that, especially the breakfast shows. So we have to keep it in mind that as viewers, we are not used to that dynamic where a woman is leading the show. So in our minds, we still have to get used to that idea that a lot of the women are going to be doing these shows now and leading the shows. Another thing is that we have to consider a personality, Dineo. A lot of people have been saying what they feel like it's personal. That thing of her wanting to dominate Usol on the show is personal because they have had some conflicts in the past when they did an interview in Amakji's podcast. But I think also we have to look at just Dineo's personality. You guys, we have watched Dineo on her show when she did her own reality show. We have also watched her when she did a reality show with her family. She has a dominating personality. It's very hard for, even when they're sitting as a family, they're having those family gatherings, you always going to know what Dineo is thinking, what Dineo is feeling, and she's going to say what she's thinking, what she's feeling, and all of that before others are able to say it. And a lot of the times, she won't even let her own family speak. It's always going to be about Dineo. Even the fights that they have had as a family on the show are always about what Dineo has said, what Dineo is not happy about. She's like a main character in her own family because that's just how, that is her personality. She doesn't wait for people to express themselves. She will express herself before anybody else. And that's just how she is, even with her own family. A lot of the conflicts that they have had is because she doesn't let them speak. She doesn't hear them out, in her own family. That's just how she is. So when you're looking at the show, when you're watching the show, honestly, I feel like a lot of it is just how she is with Dineo. She has a dominating personality. And keep in mind that she has that dominating personality, but she also knows that she is in a space where a lot of the times male dominates. And a lot of the times where we are in the workspaces where usually men lead, as women, we always have to do a little bit more than men will do to get the recognition. And considering her personality, she might do more and even more than she's supposed to do. I don't know if I'm making any sense. In workspaces, for a woman to be recognized, a lot of the times you have to do more than a man would do to get recognized in the same way that you are getting recognized. So she already knows that the viewers are used to male presenters being the leaders when it comes to these shows. So she probably has to do more to prove it, and she's worth being there. But on top of that, there is just that side of her where she is dominating wherever she is. If she has to speak, she's the one that will be heard in that space. But she also knows that she does have a right to dominate because she is the lead presenter on that show. In the side Gasol, honestly, I do feel like he understands his contracts. He understands Ukuthi he's there as a support to it, but also he does understand he's there to do the traffic. And it will be interesting to hear from him how he feels about the situation. Is he happy doing the show? Is he feeling like he's getting enough chances to speak? And I do also feel like it's a new thing to them. So I do feel like maybe part of it we do have to give them a chance because they work together. And if Sol is feeling some type of way about not being given a chance on that show, he is an adult. and he does have a right to sit down with his colleague and say, listen, colleague, I know I'm a support here, but can we do it this way so that I get a chance to ask a question here and there? Because I do think that Sol Phenduka, before he took this job, he knew who he was going to be working with. And all of us know how Dineo is, how dominating she wants to be when it comes to conversations and all of that. The Sol also knew. And he took this job already knowing, and we don't know what his strategy is in managing our dynamics Aguleya show. So I do think that at this point it will be interesting to hear how he feels about it. But I do also feel like it's early on the show. Maybe we do need to give them a chance to sort it out. Among themselves to see how they can how they can give each other a chance when it comes to the show. But keeping in mind that Dineo is the main presenter in that show, and also we can't be asking her to change who she is, because chances are the radio station hired her because of her personality. They liked her as she is, and they also liked Sol as he was. And can we blame Dineo for Sol not being able to present who we know him to be on this show? Can we blame Dineo? When Dineo is there, we already know Dineo is dominating. She's coming to this show being exactly who we know her to be, which is dominant. Whether you like it or not, that's how she is. We already know her. So can we blame Dineo for Sol not being able to be himself in that space? Can we say that is Dineo's fault? So I don't know, you guys. That's why I say, for me, it really would be great to hear how Sol feels about it. But I do feel like they just started working together. Maybe things are going to work out at the end. When I watched that video, when he was raising his hands, I did have thoughts of maybe this is not a good fit for Sol. But I did feel like, but he is an adult. If he's feeling like he's out of he's not where he's comfortable, he's not where he can express himself, he's not where he can fully show us his talent, it's up to him then to make a decision whether he stays on that show or he leaves. But we can't put it all on Dineo, on what happens next, and we can't expect Dineo to change to accommodate Usol. Why can't Usol accommodate Dineo at the same time? I do understand the frustration that people are going through when it comes to this show, but I do feel like we need to give them a little bit of a chance, and we have to just trust Dugutu Sol has made a decision for himself to join the show, knowing how Dineo is like when she's doing the radio shows, and we have to trust also that if he really feels like it's not working out for him, he will be able to make that decision for himself to say, this is not a good fit for me, let me remove myself. But I don't think that we can ask Dineo to change much of who she is when the station got her for who she is to do the show. Anyway, guys, that is my thoughts on this issue. Please tell me what you think about it in the comment section. Like the video before Pumegiona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Nginithanda kakhulu.